he wasn't there when she was born, and she has my maiden name.
I'm just telling you for the record, Miss Low, the child's name was legally changed in 2018.
Can she keep that Low? Because that's all she's known as, Low.
No, ma'am. It's legally Craig.
I'm unemployed. I've never quit a job, ma'am. I have been a trucker for 30 years. Worked up north a lot in the snow and ice, so it was kind of a hit and miss on the weather. We did get paid. We did not get paid if we did not drive. We were not hourly. Our money come through mileage.
I just want it known that Jamie has only seen Oakley physically 4 times.
Okay.
And like I said, he wasn't there for her birth.
The last thing I want to do is get into some type of
I understand
a
that.
dirt throwing match between you and
I don't throw dirt.
Are you willing to waive that service of citation and go forward today without being served?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Same question, Mr. Craig. Did I explain to you before we went on the record today your right to service of citation?
Yes, sir.
Are you willing to go forward today without being served?
Yes, sir.
The court will admonish and has admonished the parties to the right to service, and I find that they both voluntarily and freely waived their service of citation. Ms. Simone, you may call you first, please.
Thank you, Judge. I'd ask the court to take judicial notice of the prior order in this case.
The court will take judicial notice of its own file, including the controlling support order.
Okay. And at this time, the state will call Ms. Low. Ms. Low, will you state your full name for the court's record, please?
Yes, ma'am. I'm listed at Ernies Audra Jean Low, but I was recently married, so my last name has changed on my driver's license, but not my social security card yet. So
okay. And what is your
to be known too?
What is your new last name?
It's Lazarine. It's Lazarine.
Okay. And do you have any safety concerns with your personal information being in today's court order?
No, no,
okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay, and are you the mother of Oakley Craig?
Yes, ma'am. And she's actually Oakley Low.
Oh, okay, Oakley Low.
Yes, she was born. He wasn't there when she was born, and she has my maiden name.
Okay. How old is Oakley?
She's 8. She just turned 8 June the 9th.
Okay, and you currently have an order in your case from 2018 where Mr. Craig is ordered to pay you $629.
We
Yes,
need
sir.
to stop for a second.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Low, I'm looking at the paternity order that was signed by this court back in January of 2018 that legally changes this child's last name.
I didn't know that her name was changed. Her social security card has been listed Ernies Low. I didn't know that was changed.
What you did with the information after it was done was one thing, but this is actually an agreed order that was signed by you and Mr. Craig back on January the 3rd of 2018 that changes the child's life.
Not to speak for him or nothing, but neither one of us knew that. Okay. So this is the first I've heard of it.
I'm just telling you for the record, Ms. Low, the child's name was legally changed in 2018.
Okay, so I need to change her social security card now then, huh?
Ms. Low, you don't have to do anything. There's nothing that has to be done from this point forward, but any new records that were on the child after 2018 should have been changed. So she should be listed.
Okay, like as far as school records and stuff, can she keep that Low? Because that's all she's known as, Low.
No, ma'am, it's legally Craig. But if Mr. Craig is not complaining about it, then I don't see any reason to, but the child's last name is legally Craig.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Simone.
Yes, sir. Okay, and you currently have an order from 2018 where Mr. Craig is ordered to pay you $629.90 a month in child support. Does that sound correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, has Mr. Craig fallen behind some with his child support payments?
A lot. He has not been so consistent, which I know that he's told me. I don't know how true it is, but he's had numerous health issues, and he has quit multiple jobs throughout the years, on and off. So I don't know what's going on with that situation, but he has not paid consistently. Okay. It's been months since he's paid. He'll go periodically with paying a couple months and then not paying for 3 or 4 months, or I mean, I just don't never know when he's going to pay.
At this time, the state will move to admit the pay records for Mr. Craig as State's Exhibit A.
Ms. Low, I've just placed on the record a copy of the pay record between you and Mr. Craig. Is it okay if I look at the pay record?
Of course.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Mr. Craig, before I ask you, please remove your cap in my courtroom.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My bad. Yes, sir.
Mr. Craig, is it okay if I look at this pay record?
Yeah, that's correct. You're more than welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir. State's Exhibit A is admitted into evidence.
Okay, and the pay record shows that Mr. Craig is behind in child support by $12,172.79 as of June 30th. Have you ever received any direct payments from Mr. Craig that were not through the child support office?
No, ma'am. Nothing other than like a birthday, like $20, $30 for a birthday gift, whatever, but that's been years.
Okay, and do you want Mr. Craig to pay you the amounts that are owed to you?
Yes, ma'am, I sure do.
Okay, and can you tell me, how is Oakley covered for health insurance?
Medicaid.
Okay.
And actually I just got paperwork about a week ago for her Medicaid renewal, but as far as her doing her renewal, I don't know how I need to go about doing that. So I wanted to wait till court today. I just didn't know what to do in that case.
Okay.
Because she doesn't need to go without insurance right now because she's having some health issues and she wears a CPAP machine.
Okay. I'll go ahead and pass this witness.
Okay, you can call your next witness.
I will call Mr. Craig.
Yes.
Mr. Craig, would you please state your full name for the court's record?
Jamie Lee Craig.
Okay, and you're the father of Oakley Craig, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Are you currently employed?
Right now I'm unemployed. I've never quit a job, ma'am. I have been a trucker for 30 years, and I'll wait for your further questions.
Okay, when is the last time that you worked?
I got laid off in June the 11th of 2023. And before that, I've been a trucker, and like COVID hit, I got laid off, and I still pay my unemployment through the insurance of unemployment of Indiana. So I've always been looking for jobs, always been consistent, but I have never quit a job, ma'am.
Okay, so who is your previous employer?
SAV out of Minnesota.
Okay, and how long did you work for them?
I started around December the 11th of 2022. No, excuse me. It's 2021. And I worked there till about the end of April, the 1st of May, because of medical reasons, ma'am.
Okay. And was that April of this year?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you haven't been employed since April, is that correct?
No, ma'am. I went in for orientation with another company, but it didn't work out too well.
Okay. So you've not had work since April?
No, I did work for like a week, but I never got paid.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
it was like an orientation sign-on deal that I never got paid like I was supposed to get paid.
and what were you paid when you were working for that company?
For SAV?
Yes, sir.
Well, it's by mileage, ma'am. I did coast to coast OTR trucking. So
Okay.
of course I was never home. I am home now. Pretty much I made, I don't know if you want weekly, monthly, or
Monthly would be fine.
well, gross or net.
Gross.
Okay, I would say $4,000, $3,500 average. Worked up north a lot in the snow and ice, so it was kind of a hit and miss on the weather. We did get paid. We did not get paid if we did not drive. We were not hourly. Our money come through mileage.
And are you presently looking for work?
Yes, ma'am, I sure am. I got interviews I'm in Nacogdoches, Texas at the moment. I got interviews with Walmart, people local, but as far as the over the truck jobs, I don't know right now. I'm looking for something local.
Okay. And what's the longest period you've gone without employment?
Without employment, the
Yes.
year I got laid off, my company was Celadon out of Indianapolis, Indiana.
Okay.
That was a company that I worked for almost 2 years. and the company unfortunately went bankrupt. That was about December of 2020, and when the COVID hit at the March after that, it was hard for me to even get a physical, to get into a doctor's office, anything, to even find a job with a CDL, man. So I was pretty much unemployed for a year, and at that time I was getting $285. I think it was like 285 or 5, something like that a week, and she still got my unemployment, what she was supposed to get, her child support out of that unemployment.
Okay, how are you currently supporting yourself?
Right now, I'm trying to find a job, man.
Okay. Are you
Yes.
paying any type of rent?
Right now, me and my fiance are paying rent, but right now at the moment, we're just trying to work things out, ma'am.
Okay. And do you have any other biological children under the age of 18?
Yes, I do, ma'am. I have my oldest son is 28, he lives in California, but I have a daughter that's 16.
Okay. Are you paying child support for her?
No, ma'am. I kind of had to go to court over that because being a mother had to leave. But other than that, I don't pay child support. No, ma'am.
Okay. I will go ahead and pass this witness.
I'm so sorry that I'm not on video, guys. I tried to do it and it wouldn't bring it up. I'm sorry.
Hey, Miss Low.
I didn't even realize that y'all would all be on video.
It's okay. Sometimes phones don't work real well for video anyway. So, and it's much more important for me, Miss Low, if I can hear you than it is to see you. Okay.
Okay.
If I have problems hearing you, then I really have issues in regards to the case. So you're okay about the video part. Raven Green, please unmute.
I apologize. I don't actually need Miss Green. I apologize.
Okay, never mind then. Call your next witness, Ms. Simone.
I don't have any further witnesses.
So what you want to do?
This is a tough one.
Not for me.
Can I speak? I'm
Yes,
sorry.
ma'am. I just want to see the state's position, and then I'll.
Okay. I'm so sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Don't ever be sorry for trying to speak up for yourself. I'll get to you though.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ms. Simone. What's your position?
I mean, at the moment, it testified that he has no income. So
It wasn't that in 2022 though when you filed it, was it?
that's correct.
That's the reason why you really shouldn't let these cases linger for this long.
I do understand.
Let's get back to that. I'll make it easier for you. Ms. Low, was there something else that you think I needed to know about this case before I made a ruling?
Yes, sir. Please. I just want it known that Jamie has only seen Oakley physically 4 times.
Okay.
And like I said, he wasn't there for her birth.
Right.
And he's never went to any school events.
Right.
Which I've invited him to numerous times, even gave him directions and times. The 4 times that he has seen her, I went out of my way to go out of town to meet up with him.
Ms. Low,
I physically didn't even know that he lived in
Ms. Low,
yes,
I don't mean to interrupt you, and I don't want to stop you, but I need you to understand something. The only issue before me is child support. I can't make or not make Mr. Craig be a good dad, but I can make him pay child support. Okay?
Yes, sir. I understand.
So his contact with the child, while it's very important for the child and the child's well-being, is absolutely no relevance to me today. Okay. I mean, as a judge, I'd like to think that all parents are great parents and spend equal amount of time with their kids, but I can't make that happen in lawsuits that are filed in my court because they're never issues before me. Okay.
Yes, sir. I just want it known that I'm doing my part, doing my best to raise my kiddos. And I feel like that's the least he can do is to help support her.
Okay.
I mean, but that's all I had to say.
Well, and I will say in Mr. Craig's defense that while he was working for those 2 years, he was paying. So, that was working the way it was supposed to. But I do admit that for the last 4 months or 3 months since Mr. Craig's been unemployed, there has been no support paid, and that's what needs to change. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Craig, I have your undivided attention at this time.
Yes, sir.
Let me tell you how these things go. I'm old. I'm an old man.
Yes, sir.
And one of the things that I believe in is that you have an obligation to support your child. Now, I do understand that sometimes times get tough and it's hard to find a job. But the last thing I'm going to do in your case, Mr. Craig, is reduce your child support based on the fact that you don't have a job. You understand?
Okay.
So I got two options today.
Mhm.
The first option is I just deny the motion and you
Mhm.
keep being ordered to pay $629 a month.
That's
That's
fine.
the first option. That's the
Okay.
one I'm leaning. That's the one I'm leaning toward.
Yes, sir.
The second option is I can reset this case. You can go get a job and you can send your paycheck stubs to the Attorney General's office so they verify that you have a job and what you're
Yes, sir.
making. And
Yes,
then
sir.
when we come back here, I'll set the child support based on your new job.
That's correct. I understand that, sir.
All right. So we understand what floor
Yes,
we're
sir.
on at this time. I want you to know when I come back to court on this case,
Mhm.
if you either don't show up, okay, or you don't have a job, then I'm going to deny the motion at that time.
I
Okay.
understand that, sir. And
So
can I
it's,
say something, sir? Oh, my bad.
it's okay, Mr. Craig. The last thing I want to do is get into some type of
I understand
a
that.
dirt throwing match between you and
Oh,
Mr.
I
Craig.
don't throw dirt.
This is all about the child support.
Yes, sir. I understand. It's not.
But it's also about you showing to me that you're going to do what you need to do to make sure the
Yes,
money is
sir.
going through my court.
I always have, and I've been through a rough patch the last
I
4 months.
got
through
you.
my-
That's why I'm giving you this chance.
Yes, sir.
But I'm
Yes, sir.
putting the pressure. I'm putting the pressure on you, Mr. Craig. It's going to be your responsibility to go get a job,
Mhm.
show proof of that job to the Attorney General's office, and then show back up in my court.
That's fine. Yes,
If
sir.
you don't do all three of those things, when we come back here in my court, then I'm just going to relieve the child support at $629 a month.
That's fine, sir.
And that way it's because I want, if your child support is not right, Mr. Craig, I want to fix it.
I understand that.
You should only be paying child support based on your income.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
All right. So I need you to go get a job and then
Yeah.
show that proof to the AG's office so they can show me. And when we
Yes,
come
sir.
back to court, whether the child support stays the same, goes down or goes up, you've got a job and I'm going to be able to have the good information in front of me to set the right child support for Oakley.
That's fine, sir.
All right. Does everybody understand what's going to happen when we come back?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Your
Can
Honor.
I ask you one more question?
You
Sorry.
can ask, Ms. Lowe. I may not be able to answer it, but you can ask.
As far as her medical, with that renewal coming up for Medicaid, with my income and my new husband's income, I don't know if she would still be eligible to get Medicaid. And I just want to make sure and Jamie's supposed to be doing the insurance part.
Right.
And I was supposed to be, I guess, paying the prescriptions out of pocket myself.
Mhm.
But I don't know how to go about doing that because, like I said, she doesn't need a lapse in insurance right now. And I know
Well-
that he's not working.
Ms. Lowe, the problem is that there's not a whole lot of opportunities for you in this state in order to make sure that your child's insurance is maintained. Obviously, Mr. Craig is not going to be able to provide insurance because he's not working this time. Whether or not you continue to qualify for Medicaid is between you and Medicaid, and there's nothing that I can do about that. That's a federal agency, and I certainly don't have any control over what they do.
Yes, sir.
So you're just going to have to do the best that you can in the meantime until we come back to court. If you don't qualify for Medicaid anymore, then you need to go out and find some health insurance. And when we come back to court, I'm going to order Mr. Craig to pay you for it.
Okay, that's all I was concerned about. That's what I was wondering.
Now, if Oakley's medical premiums are $600 a month, I may not be able to order Mr. Craig to pay you $600 a month, but he will be paying something if that's what you're required to do.
Yeah, that's all I'm concerned about right now is because she's having thyroid issues and, like I said, breathing issues, and I don't want her to have her CPAP machine taken away, and that's things that she relies on daily. So,
Ms. Lowe, please.
That was my main concern.
Believe it or not, people don't always believe me, but the medical needs of the children in my court are always the most important thing to me.
yes, sir.
Okay? Because good
All
parent,
right.
bad parent, not paying parent, paying parent, those are things that I always try to address. But a child that doesn't get their medical care looked after, that's more important because that's the most tragic.
Yes, sir.
All right. You both, what's the reset date?
I was going to say, how much time did you want to give for a reset, Judge?
60 days.
Okay. Take us into September.
Whatever that date is, just man. Whatever the date is that you have there.
Do you want to say September 20th?
That sounds good.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Craig and Miss Lowe, they're going to send you a notice for September the 20th. Just make sure you come back into my court at that time, okay?
Thank you, sir.
But one of my concerns was how did the name go from Young to Edwards?
Well, I
And-
know I went there. That she committed her. Unfortunately, the court says, I've seen this happen before. She had to do it. The only way it could be done was to commit a fraud, which the court has determined and looked up as either being at best a class A misdemeanor, and if it was used to actually do harm, it is a state jail felony.